Hey guys, welcome back to the homestead. So today we're actually going to be making a mixture for an herbal tea, and this all kind of resulted from the research I did after my birthday back in September, because for some reason after my birthday my eyes just literally said we're done, right? So like my vision started really getting bad. I mean, it had started to get bad shortly after my 40th birthday. And I remember going to the eye doctor and saying, well, I know I'm staring at all these screens all the time, and that's got to be playing into it. And he literally, in the most condescending tone I have ever heard in my entire life, put his hand on my knee and he said, no, this is just what happens when women get older. Cool, thanks, appreciate that. Just because I needed a memory. So after my birthday this year, again, I started to notice, well, it's probably time to bump up my prescription a little bit more, because I do, with my job, I stare at a computer screen 8 hours a day, constantly. And I try to get up and move around and stuff, but looking at spreadsheets and everything else I have to do, I am constantly focused on this monitor. So I started looking for what I can do to kind of offset that, right? And there's a couple other different things that I do. And again, I'm not trying to take my eyesight back to where it was. I'm just trying to keep it from getting worse, right? As that lovely doctor liked to say, older. So I go looking through all these things and I'm doing different things, but I found this tea and I giggle because I find it in my herbal book under herbs for elders. So again, ouch. I don't quite think 45 is an elder, but apparently I am. So I've thrown this recipe together and I have all my herbs already combined, because watching me weigh out herbs is probably not the highlight of anybody's day. So I'm actually going to take these and pour these into my mason jar for storage. But I wanted to see if this even tastes worth a darn, because I mean, it's all great if you, and I've got it in my little teapot here. So we're just going to start infusing that while we're talking. And so, it can do all the most wonderful things that it wants to do for me, but if it tastes like mud, I'm not going to drink it. So I'm going to put the full recipe below, and it's called eye strengthening tea, right? And so supposedly these different herbs will help strengthen your eye muscles and your focus and all those types of things. And you're supposed to drink it twice a day for 4 to 6 weeks until you see improvement. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if it works. Again, not expecting to have that 20/20 vision I had right in my 20s by no stretch of the imagination. But is this going to really help me focus? Is this really going to help the eye tiredness, right, I get after 8 hours of staring at a screen or trying to read my Bible or whatever I'm doing, right? So like, is this ultimately going to help me in the end, is what we're trying to solve for here. So it says to mix all of these together in this bowl, drink it, like I said, for 4 to 6 weeks, twice a day, at the minimum, twice a day. And so you're supposed to measure out, weigh out 8 ounces of water, however you want to do it. And then let it steep for 10 minutes. So I'm going to let this steep for 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to see if it tastes worth a darn. Because like I said, it can do whatever it wants to do, but if it tastes bad, I'm never going to drink it and I'm never going to stick with it, right? I'm a realist. Probably should have a little bit more conviction, but it is what it is. If it tastes bad, I'm not drinking it. And I don't want to have to add sugars or anything else. Now, it says you can add coconut creams or anything like that you wanted to, if you wanted to make it creamier. I'm sure you could throw a heavy whip in there if you wanted to make it creamier, because it's got cinnamons in it and clove and all that type of stuff, right? So it's going to taste, I would think it's going to have a nice, warm, kind of wintry taste to it. So we'll see what this ends up turning out. But let me get this steeping. We've got probably 8 minutes more to go. So when this is done with its steep and it's a nice heavy tea, we'll come back and we'll see, we'll do a taste test. So we'll be back. Okay guys, so it's been steeping for 10 minutes. I went ahead and put it in the jar so that way it'll stay nice and fresh while we're doing this. So we're just going to pull this out. Sit it over here. Smells pretty good. So let's see how it is with no sweeteners whatsoever. It's not too bad. I could see why they would add milk to it or something like that, because then it's going to make it creamier. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe it. Believe me, it's not a bad flavor. If you wanted to add, you know, like a sweetener to it or something like that, like a monk fruit or something, that would probably make it taste more. I think it would bring out the richness of the cinnamon and the clove better with something like that. But I think you could also drink this just the way it is, and it's not going to upset your stomach or taste so bitter that you're not going to want to keep going back and drinking it. So yeah, I think I can stick with this for a little while. So we'll see. So I'm going to try it for the next 4 weeks. Of course, you know, being the 1st of January, it's going to be easy to track this one. So we'll see. I'll do a check-in at like 4 weeks and see if I notice any improvements. And then we'll go 6 weeks and see if there's any improvements. And then, of course, 8 weeks to see if any improvements. Like I said, I'm going to put the full recipe below for you guys. If anybody wants to try along, since today is kind of a good way to start, I'll put the full list of herbs and the measurements. Sorry, my cats are running around like a bunch of lunatics right now. I'll put the full list of herbs and everything below, so you guys will have the weights and the measurements and everything that I did. So if you want to order these things and try them yourselves, of course, you can also pair this with an elderberry too, if you wanted to throw some elderberry in, because that has benefits for the eyes as well. So we'll do a check-in in, like I said, in about 4 weeks, and we'll see if it's any better. So we'll see if I even stuck with it that long, if the flavor eventually wore me out, or if I had to do anything to it too. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Give it a try. Let me know if you give it a try, and have a great day.